So what do we know about the UK's approach from here with Boris Johnson still in intensive care, particularly as we're in a third week of lockdown, which was initially supposed to be the last?
Well, that's right. Of course, we saw the highest number of fatalities in the UK yesterday, with 786 people losing their lives. The government is saying, though, there is some signs for optimism in the numbers in the UK because new infection rates, like in some other parts of the world that you just mentioned, seem to be stabilising, although they need to stay stable for a number of days beyond that. That said, there are forecasts that the disease will still have a large fatality rate in the UK through the next week, including from the Imperial College of London, saying that France and the UK could be the hardest hit through the next week. And as that's happening, of course, we've got a government that is without its Prime Minister. Boris Johnson spent a second night in intensive care. He is still said to be stable on oxygen, but not requiring a ventilator. But the longer that he is in intensive care or even in hospital, obviously recovering from what's been a very serious illness, the bigger the questions are for how the government makes decisions going forward.
Ros, can I ask you, obviously yesterday for the UK and New York, they both reported their deadliest days. What's the latest update in the United States?
Well, that's right. In New York, of course, they also it's been the hardest hit state in the US from the coronavirus, although coronavirus infections tapered off for a third straight day, both there and in New Jersey, which is the second most hit. And the government there says that they are looking at the new hospitalisation rate and demand for intensive care beds as kind of the key parameters there. They say that fatalities for them are a trailing indicator for where the virus is at, and that they believe that social distancing is actually having some effect because what you're seeing is a slowing of the curve in terms of the new number of infections. For the third day yesterday, was below the high water mark, which was almost 11,000 last Friday. It's down to around 8,000 a day. And the new hospital admissions rate is also now quite some way under 700. So the pattern that they're saying is emerging both in New Jersey and in New York, which are the two hardest hit states so far in the US from coronavirus, is that fatalities are high, but the infection rate seems to be slowing. And so there's some small signs of optimism there.